So we continue with our series on miracle power. I'd like you to think for a moment about something very special. Am I on? Am I on now? Yes, I am. There we go. Ooh. I need to go down a little bit, maybe. I'd like you to think for a moment about something very special, maybe the most important day of your life, whatever that might mean to you. I wonder what comes into mind. Probably a lot. Probably a lot of planning and organising. Maybe a lot of emotions. I wonder if it's the people you were with. Is it the place that you were? Is it the taste of what you ate, the sound of music or speech, a smell, a special outfit? Or is it what you could see? Excuse me, I have a bug on me. Don't like bugs. My mum has recently had cataract surgery. Sight has become the focus of our attention, what we can see or what she can't see. How clear is it? Eye drops, lots of eye drops, and taking care of what she's doing to help the eye to heal. Now, my mum and I have been very fortunate, actually incredibly blessed by our travels together. Along with her, my memories are predominantly about what I have seen. We're not foodies, we're not into music, but we're very much into what we can see. Incredible buildings like the Taj Mahal, views across the Great Rift Valley in Kenya, or the beauty and scariness and cuteness of polar bears on the tundra. However, in today's reading, we first meet Bartimaeus sitting at the side of the road begging. He has no idea this is going to be the most important day of his life. He's doing what he always does. There are probably no special people with him, no incredible buildings, no interesting tastes or sounds or smells to mark this out as anything other than an ordinary day. And no visual memories because Bartimaeus is blind. Go back into that memory, if you will, that special day you were thinking of a moment ago. Take out everything you can see. I wonder what the memory is like now. Next, imagine a famous celebrity is walking down your street today. Maybe your favourite musician, maybe one of the lionesses holding the trophy, maybe another sports star, maybe it's the king. What would you do? Would you be too excited to move? Would you be frozen in amazement? Or would you shout out? Would you wave? Would you tell your family to come and see? Would you grab your phone for a selfie, an autograph? Maybe you've got a burning question that you want to ask them. When Bartimaeus hears that Jesus of Nazareth is coming, he makes some noise. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me, he shouts. He makes some noise to get Jesus' attention. And the crowd tell him off. Shh, be quiet, be quiet. The people try to dismiss Bartimaeus and shut him up. He's being too noisy. He's drawing attention to himself, and they don't like it. I wonder what they're thinking. Maybe, well, he can't see Jesus or what's happening, so the experience is pretty much wasted on him. He just needs help, and he'll get in the way. Imagine, if you will, you've been stood on the mall from the early hours of the morning to get the best vantage spot to see the Lionesses' homecoming bus parade. Now, maybe you might let a small child come and stand in front of you. They're shorter than you, and they won't get in the way of what you can see. But an adult, someone who's turned up late, oh, no, that's not happening. You should have got here earlier. You should have planned this. And then what if that person was blind? And you might think, well, they don't need to be in the front because they can't see anyway. Stay at the back. They can hear from there and soak up the atmosphere. That's sufficient. But the crowd, denying him his chance, spurs him on all the more to get Jesus' attention. Jesus is important. And even though others are telling him to be quiet, he pursues an encounter because he recognizes who Jesus is. Whatever is to happen, he wants his moment. Now, what would you do if Jesus walked down your street? Because that's where Bartimaeus is this morning. He finds himself in the situation where the most famous person is near him. Not only is he well known, but he heals people. Here is a chance to change your life completely and forever. Not just a selfie, not just an autograph, but your eyesight. All the things you've missed out on your entire life. You've never seen the faces of your friends and family. You've never seen a glorious sunset, the intricate beauty of flowers, or even the buildings of the town you live in. He has the chance to experience healing that could change his life. If he sat back and obeyed the crowd and kept quiet and simply let Jesus walk past, his life would never have changed. See, being in a room and seeing what's in a room can be two very different things. Sometimes you might notice that something is there, but you don't really see it. And this is what it felt for blind Bartimaeus all his life. He was an outcast, a beggar, the lowest of the low. People didn't notice him. No one saw him really. When Jesus was alive, this is how people felt towards those who were ill or sick. They noticed their existence, but they didn't see them. They were ignored by society because they were considered dirty and less important. However, Jesus acted in exactly the opposite way. Those who most people didn't recognize and didn't notice, Jesus spent time with them, loved and even healed them, and blind Bartimaeus is one of those. So Bartimaeus shouts all the more, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Everyone else walks past, and no one seems to care. However, Jesus makes time for him. Jesus stops. When nobody else cared, Jesus cared. Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." Maybe that's you today. Maybe you feel like a bit of an outcast today, that no one cares about you. Maybe you feel ignored. Bartimaeus knew who Jesus was. He shouts, "Son of David." He understands the significance and knew he could make a difference from that point on. And the most amazing thing happens. Jesus stops. Jesus stops and puts him, Bartimaeus, center stage. Suddenly, he goes from the outcast to the star of the show. He has the full attention of Jesus. And when we call out to Jesus, he gives us that full attention. Bartimaeus wasn't famous. He wasn't well-dressed or popular. He didn't really have a great life going for him. Even knowing all those things, Jesus stopped and gave him attention. And some of us might feel that we're not the most popular, or we're not the smartest, or the most outgoing. We're not the loud ones. But Jesus sees past all of that. He doesn't stop just for the ones that everyone notices or are the center of attention. He stops for all. He stops for every single one. Jesus stops for Bartimaeus, and he stops for me and for you. In the kingdom of God, no one is overlooked or unseen. Romans 10, verse 12, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And now all changes. The crowd, instead of shushing him, are calling him to the front. Remember, he's blind. They'll need to guide him to where Jesus is in the crowd. I don't know about you, but I've been in a crowd. In hindsight, this was a very stupid thing to do, but I took a group of young people to Oxford Street at Christmas to see the lights. Yeah, never did it again. The only way we could get where we wanted to was holding on to each other's backpacks and making like a snake to try and keep together. We could see where we were going. We could see who was around us and what was in our way. And even then, we couldn't keep together. Bartimaeus will need help to get to the front, to get to Jesus and this encounter. Jesus, Son of God, who knows the depths of all of our hearts, is also Jesus, Son of Man, recognizing another human. So Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do for you?" What an incredible question. What do you want me to do for you? I wonder if you can imagine Jesus asking you that question today. Jesus already knows the answer, but he asks because he wants a relationship with him, and he gives Bartimaeus a voice. And today Jesus is asking each of us the same question, and he wants us to answer it and tell him what we want him to do for us. Jesus doesn't assume the answer, for in healing him, his life, the everyday existence that he's used to, will change. His whole identity as the blind beggar will be gone. From this moment onwards, every single second of the day will be different. Bartimaeus responds, "Rabbi, I want to see." And Jesus responds, "Go, your faith has healed you." And boom, miracle power. Bartimaeus shouts out in faith to Jesus. He doesn't allow anything to stop him from encountering him. I wonder if there's things that might get in the way of us encountering Jesus. Maybe you wouldn't even have shouted because you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to stand out in the crowd. You don't want to be the center of attention. You fear being seen. Maybe you wouldn't have shouted because you were afraid of the crowd. You'd be scared they'd shout you down and quiet you. Your fear of lack of confidence might get in the way. Maybe you feel there are other people worthier. He's not interested in my little worry or issue. You fear being judged. Maybe the total change of life stops you. What if he does see me, hear me, answer me, and my whole world turns upside down? The fear of change. But we know that God only gives good gifts to those who love him. He doesn't give a scorpion. I didn't know that was going to be in there. He doesn't give a scorpion. Matthew chapter 7, if imperfect humans can give good gifts, how much will God, the perfect Father, give good gifts to those who ask him? In Jesus' lifetime, he cared for others, and he always made time for others, just like he did with Bartimaeus. One of our church values is to care deeply. So think about the people in your life that you know of, friends, neighbours, in church, your family, or maybe it's someone that you don't know very well, but you see at school or at work or at a group you go to. Who can you notice and stop for this week, just like Jesus did? And who knows what miracle power might be unleashed. Please stand if you're able for our next song, which is Faithful One.